Final boss time! Super fight!
Ah, yeah! This is happening.
There it is.
So do you.
Yeah, Black Doom just sounds bad in every language.
I think he actually sounds worse in Japanese.
I think I just have a nostalgic for his English voice, which is basically the same in this game, so...
Yeah, I like the, gruff whisper. I think that fits for him very well. Like, he doesn't have the vocal capabilities.
You know what it is? It's watching
like
all the Shadow
person.
759 videos.
Yeah.
Ship. What? The 7 Chaos Emeralds.
If anybody else knows who Shadow 759 is from back in the day, I salute you. You're old.
It's also it's another one of those voices that every man is equipped with. Anyone can do the Black Doom voice if they really wanted to.
I'm not gonna try.
It's like Kermit the Frog. Hey, hi ho, it's Kermit the Frog. Any white man has this capability, at the very least.
Yeah. So this boss fight is it's mostly original. This is gonna be the closest to any previous boss fight because there's kind of not really much you can do to change Doom Surf combat other than make it a bit harder. And there's step number 1, by the way.
This also benefits from having multiple phases where you're in the Doom Surf and then you're in Doom Morph. And the Doom Morph section is pretty fucking awesome. That's all I can say.
This is what the Dark Gaia fight should have been. But actually fun.
Oh, you fuck.
You have to, attack with X,
it.
then you have to press it again and hold it. If you just start because I mashed it one of these times and it fails. It's so finicky. I don't know why I was having so much trouble with it. You're gonna see it.
All I ever do is mash the homing attack button.
So is I trying to do as well, okay?
So I don't know, skill issue. Idiot.
Anyways, Dark Gaia fight, but better. Because it's multi-phases, some with the super form, some without. This is easily the best 3D supersonic fight.
This is the best Sonic final boss.
Yeah.
Easily.
I only put these higher than Frontiers because Frontiers is obviously built on hype. A lot of the gameplay and challenge is out. This is hype along with gameplay and challenge, so you just have to put this higher.
I've never seen this phase of the fight. I always finish this part of the boss before I get here.
Well, there you go. I hope you get to see some new content. Enjoy.
I am, and this is cool. But this is one of those fights where you have to do everything perfect to get that S rank.
As it should be.
And it took me quite a number of times, and you know what? I liked it. I wish every S rank was like that. I wish you had to be perfect to get the S ranks, because S rank to me implies it's the highest echelon of skill you can put into something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't been that for Sonic games since at least Colors. Colors has an interesting ranking system, but I wouldn't say you have to do perfectly to get S's in that.
Mm-hmm. I think this is probably my favorite section of the fight. I really like this Doom Morph section.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. I love fucking doing the dash and then jumping to just fling myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do this section a lot faster.
Yeah, obviously I do not have this memorized enough to do that, so.
Yeah. Oh no, even if I still can't S-rank this, reliably. So, I'll even mess up on this section, you know. So, don't feel too bad. Oh! You need to do some more dashing, buddy.
Look, after the shit on Chaos Island, I'm trying to, take platforming seriously.
Are you gonna die again?
Oh, we'll find out.
Nobito! Whatever the fuck he's saying.
Reach, but in Japanese. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? It's kind of like Noibo. Maybe it's related.
Oh.
All hail Shadow, bitch.
Yeah, we finally get to have All Hail Shadow as a boss theme, which is pretty cool.
What do you think of Neo Devil Doom?
Cool design. I kind of like how he looks in the original Shadow game a bit more. A little over-designed here. And I actually really like the final boss of the, Shadow game.
Right.
So I am struggling to figure out the controls for some reason. I don't know why.
So it looks like you think the up-down is inverted. It is not. You are just holding forward, which is making Shadow go up.
Yep.
You don't have to hold forward.
Well, I'll be doing that for a bit longer.
The analog
figure it out.
stick. The analog stick in this fight is for up, down, left, right movement. Boosting is just to go forward faster. Because you're always going forward anyways.
It's a good thing you're invincible during this.
Yeah, but you do have a time limit.
What's that? Ow.
Fuck. Oh yeah, if you get hit by one of these attacks, your S rank is gone because look how much time it's wasting. And it resets the phase, so you can't even.
It doesn't. Well, you can still do damage with this, just less.
You're supposed to be doing.
But it
this
does pause your
much
ring count when he
on
does that
repeat.
animation, which is nice.
Yeah, but it just.
I don't think
wastes
Frontiers
time.
does that, so you know.
No, that's another reason this game's better. Oh yeah, those swings, you actually want to stop boosting so you can steer Shadow a little easier to dodge it. It's like
But it's a boost game. I have to always be boosting.
Okay, says the guy who was like, "There's actually parts in this where you don't want to be boosting." You said that last part.
Yes, I did. What's your point?
My argument is you can play this game non-stop boosting if you're good. So get good. Just like Unleashed. Just like Sonic Generations. I really do wish they got Johnny back in the booth to re-record the vocals.
My only complaint with that is, unfortunately, I think his vocals have not aged the best.
They
And
definitely haven't.
they sound a lot rougher. Like Green Light Ride has really rough vocals. On top of just
Okay,
being
then-
a bad song.
Then alternatively, they should have got what's his name? Nate Wants to Battle, or what the fuck's his name? That did the One-Way Dream.
Yeah, it's Nate Wants to Battle. I mean,
Okay.
at this point, because they'd already done, I feel like this is going to be the last game with Johnny's vocals for any song being used in game, other than like jukeboxes and returning.
I mean,
Especially
yeah, I was
with
gonna
the
say
recent
they,
lawsuit.
They at least have
But like
the, they
even
at least
before
have
that, you
the
could kind of
rights.
feel it, which I'm personally okay with. I like getting new vocalists. I wish we could have gotten one last good Crush 40 song. But Night of the Wind
Yeah.
kind of filling that gap is okay for me. Because after Night of the Wind, we got
Green Light Ride,
Green Light Ride, Free by Crush 40.
which apparently Free was actually written by Johnny.
Oh,
It was just sung by a completely different person
that's funny.
for the soundtrack. Yeah. So it's effectively, for all intents and purposes, Free is effectively a Crush 40 song. So I personally see the Crush 40 of that as the actual version, even though it isn't.
All right,
This scene's
I
fucking
like this
amazing,
scene
by
a
the way.
lot, but I also really love the style they put into Supersonic. Like, I think this is all around better animated, but the style and direction they chose for some of the Supersonic cutscenes, I think, are ultimately a bit better.
I don't know. I was about to say this is pretty on par with that, just better animated. Like, obviously Shadow isn't grabbing any massive swords and cutting the thing in half or anything.
The main thing
But
I like
we
about
are-
the Supersonic fights is the camera angles. I like them here too. but the quick cuts they use for Frontiers, just, it does it for me, you know? It's a small difference. It's a small difference. I'll still say these are better overall, just because they're much more complete and better animated. But there is something I really like about the Frontiers cutscenes.
Yeah. Can we talk about the fact that this is now the third cutscene, starting in Frontiers, where they get the aspect ratio wrong.
Don't worry about it.
The second one is the Doom Blast cutscene where you get that power in this game.
That's funny.
It's slightly stretched, and this is also slightly stretched.
So,
how does this keep happening?
Don't worry about it.
How does this keep fucking happening?
Look, it was rendered by the intern. They didn't hit the settings correctly. Okay.
I just don't understand. It's not something I personally really notice, but it's something that like Sonic Twitter likes to complain about. So I'm just like,
never noticed it until you pointed it out. So
like it's honestly it's not a big problem.
He's so pissed off.
Yeah.
I love that.
C for shit crap. That's the word I was looking for. You disappoint me. God, Shadow with the wings is the coolest fucking shit. And
yeah.
And now it's gone forever.
Yep.
I was really
like Blue
worried
Sonic.
that they would do the. I was really fucking worried that they were gonna do this shit again for this game. But I was like, why can't Shadow keep the fucking Doom powers? He still has the Doom DNA, and it was awakened by Black Doom.
Look, at least this gives us another chance at seeing Super Shadow, okay?
I mean, we were gonna see that anyway, but imagine Super Shadow with the wings.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick.
Imagine, you know, never say never. Maybe he'll learn to awaken it on his own or something. Instead of it being forcibly awakened like it was in this game.
I mean, I think it'd be pretty cool to see it for future games starring Shadow, if they do more.
Yeah.
They kind of continue this trend where he gets unique powers that add to the stages.
Yeah. Real quick, this ending made me tear up a little bit on my first playthrough. I love this game's story so much. I know you're a little more critical of it, and like I definitely have criticisms of it, but it just hits really well for me. Like Shadow's finally, like he had this chance to reconnect with Maria one last time, and now he's getting a chance to like properly grieve the loss. Mm-hmm. It's so good.
I know I brought up my grievances with some of this writing in this game. I would just say now this cutscene is not one of them. This cutscene is pretty perfect to me. I like this a lot. I wish there could have been better build up to it, but as on its own, this is great. And yes, I almost teared up as well.
Yeah.
And also, I'm just going to assume Gerald's not going to remember this. Seeing as how he still does the thing later.
It's gonna be a fucking No Way Home situation. They're gonna go back to the exact moment in time they died.
Also, this game has pissed off fans who still hold on to the theory that Shadow never actually knew Maria.
Yeah, well, they kind of retconned that shit a long time ago, where, you know, this Shadow, like, yeah, that shit, yeah, it's good. I love this game so much.
If we just need to never see Shadow at this kind of an emotional high again. Like, any game from here on out starring him, make him badass the whole way through and have him focus with other characters. This needs to be the last game focusing on Shadow and his past. Alright? And his character.
Can't be brought up
you
again.
Got it right. Let's leave it here. It was fantastic. 10 out of 10, no complaints. I love Shadow's character. It was perfect.
Honestly, like, them going in the badass direction with Shadow was kind of what it seemed like was going to happen with 06 onward, if 06 wasn't received as badly as it was, you know?
If 06 weren't just a bad game, yeah.
Yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog was the last, like, we dealt with Shadow's past. He actually legitimately let go of it in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time we see him in Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, he is just a badass doing badass things, and his emotional moments in that come from his friends in the current day, Rouge and Omega. So yeah, like that's the kind of direction we need to take Shadow in going forward. This is really like all the generations, quote unquote, Sonic games. So this Sonic Generations and Mania, this is like the only time something like this is acceptable,
Uh-huh.
This is the only time a story like this could have happened, so I'm glad that they did it this way. But at the same time, if they just keep doing this with Shadow, and this is all Shadow is, his past and everything haunting him forever, then I don't know. I don't like that very much. Like, his past is obviously very important to his character, but we've dealt with it. We just did.
Mm-hmm.
We literally just dealt with it. So let Shadow take on new challenges. Allow him to overcome other problems with himself.
Let Shadow explore new
games.
frontiers. What?
Oh, I'm willing to bet Shadow's going to be playable.
Wait.
In
Ray Chase is in
2.
this game? Oh, wait, no, I think he's in
Who?
Base Generations.
Who?
He's a voice actor I like.
Oh, okay.
Voices
Yeah.
Adult Nier in the Nier Replicant remake.
Right.
And some other stuff. It's great.
What was I gonna say? I guess, now we again look forward to future Sonic games. Obviously we're gonna be doing more Sonic content on the channel before whatever comes next officially released.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got a big backlog of Sonic games to work through for this channel. So we're gonna be doing that. But what do you kind of expect for the next big 3D Sonic game after this? What are you kind of hoping for, and what do you expect?
I expect something like Frontiers, but with probably a new idea and setting.
Okay.
Because any of the Mario Kishimoto games at least always have some kind of setting. It's not always interesting, but Starfall Islands, Secret Rings, and Black Knight had interesting settings. So I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt there. I don't know how much of the feedback going into this game will feed into that.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on how much longer it's going to be in development. I really, really hope either nothing comes out next year, or all we get is another re-release or remake game.
You mean this year?
Yeah, actually, this year.
Okay.
Or maybe another 2D game. I doubt that too.
Right.
I want at least until next year, preferably 2027, for the next mainline game. I want plenty of time put into it, because clearly when they have something that fits within the scope of their time limit, they can make something fantastic like this.
Right.
However, because it's going to be the next big Sonic game, it's going to be much, much bigger scope, so they need time.
Right.
I'm hoping we can get some stages that are better designed. Actually designed, I should say.
Yeah.
I hope they take some of the feedback from the hub world of this game, but I hope they continue to add unique stuff like each of the Starfall Islands did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to play exactly like it did in this, because I have some problems with how White Space is in this. But it is a good step forward from what Frontiers did. I just think we need a few more of the elements that were cut out of Frontiers to return and add to it.
Yeah.
Funny, I talk about Frontiers when Chaos Island shows up.
And
But yeah.
it's the only good part of that song as well.
Obviously, when Frontiers came out and we did that commentary, I think we were both in pretty good agreement that we were hopefully optimistic
Hopeful. Yeah.
of the franchise going forward. Maybe a little cautious, But despite the mixed bag that was Superstars, you know, this Frontiers, Superstars, the reworked Generations has given me a pretty good confidence in Sonic Team once again. Something that I haven't had since I played 06 and discovered the internet. Because, you know, back then, I expected everything to be good, and I liked everything. I thought everything was good. You know, Heroes, Unleashed, Secret Ring, Black Knight, Colors, Generations, all great. SA1, SA2. You know, so
Yeah.
it's nice having that confidence again, and like, a new Sonic game can come out, and I'm going to trust that's good.
Yeah. I'm very much in the same boat. A lot of the things you're hoping for, I will also be hoping for. Honestly, as much as I love the boost in this game, and I think they really nailed it for this style of gameplay, I still think it's time to move on to something else for Sonic gameplay for 3D. I like the boost, but we have plenty of boost Sonic games at this point. I think I'd like to see them try something new, especially for the open zone format if they're going to keep that going, which it seems like they are. I don't know. I don't really know. I just if for stuff from this game, really hope that the actual linear point A to point B stages feel as substantial and feel like they are more of a focus in the next mainline game than they were in Frontiers. Because in Frontiers, they are quite literally just a side thing that they threw in. That's what it feels like at the very least.
Yeah.
It does, like the cyberspace stages in that are just there. They even reuse assets from Sonic Generations. That kind of shows how unimportant they were to the game's overall scope. And yeah, you know, I really would like to see, honestly, I would like to maybe have a focus on one big open zone rather than a bunch of smaller ones like Frontiers. Sort of like this game, but obviously like have the one world be like massive compared to this.
Mm-hmm.
Massive, but just as packed, full of stuff to do. And, you know, for Frontiers going for more of an RPG vibe, it kind of lacks in a lot of RPG design mentality.
The only RPG vibe is a skill tree, and that's not RPG anymore. So
no, because everything is a currency, and there's like a million different currencies you have to contend with.
Look, if it's an RPG, you can't get every choice. You have to make choices. You have to build a character. There is no character to build in Sonic Frontiers. You are Sonic. You are Sonic by the end, but with every power. That's it. It's not an RPG.
I didn't say it was. If you'd let me actually finish my goddamn point, it's it implements a lot of RPG elements to the Sonic gameplay, but it doesn't implement enough of them to make the open world feel meaningful or worthwhile. There's no NPCs or side quests. There's no little just side stories going on in the world. There's no like map wide or like big events that happen in the open world. It's just a big old freaking sandbox that they just copy pasted a bunch of their assets into and called it a day. It's not interesting in Frontiers to me. So I really hope Frontiers 2 or whatever they end up calling it has a little bit more of that stuff to flesh out the world at the very least.
I mean, this would be a perfect time to make Sonic Unleashed 2. Or maybe Sonic World Adventure 2. Something like that.
Essentially, yeah.
Because, Unleashed basically has everything Frontiers needed.
Yeah.
In terms of world design and creating an interesting place to explore.
I completely agree with that. Like, I love talking to the NPCs of that world. Like imagine if Unleashed has great levels, but imagine if that game like still had the hub worlds, but they were as barren as the Sonic Adventure 1 hub worlds, or the '06 hub worlds, I guess I should say, where there's no one really interesting to talk to, and the side quests, like, I mean, there's a variety of side quests in '06, but like not really any of them are good. So imagine if Unleashed was just that, whereas like the only real good part of that game was the boost stages. A lot of people say that's the case already, but like I genuinely think the hub worlds, the NPCs, every location having a unique feel to the design of all the characters and the music and everything like that, like hell yeah, put that in a Frontiers 2. That's the kind of shit that like made Unleashed feel so ambitious
Mm-hmm.
and grand. Like it felt like a massive adventure across the world, and that's exactly the vibe they were going for. Frontiers, it feels like they were going for like this big grand mystery, but pretty much everything that goes along with that falls flat on its face, because it's not a big grand mystery. It's just a bunch of Sonic gameplay elements strewn about, and you do them, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like I really want like a really that's like one of my biggest things I want for the next game, is like a good sense of world building. uh like I really like it ain't necessarily about the lore, even though I like the lore of Sonic. It ain't necessarily about the continuation of the storyline, or even, it's more just I want them to make an interesting location and flesh that out to the best of their ability, to like make it feel like it is a real place in Sonic's world that we should care about. And not just a playground for Sonic to run around in. Um and yeah, like the only real Sonic game that does that well is Unleashed. And I'd really like to see more of that. And honestly, I don't really need multiple playable characters. A lot of people are expecting that because of the Final Horizon thing, you know. But I don't necessarily want Tails, Knuckles, and Amy there as playable characters. Because like at the end of Frontiers, the whole storyline there was that they're gonna go off on their own adventures and do their own thing for a while. So I'd be really annoyed if all of that happened off screen and we're just back to the status quo for Frontiers 2, you know? No.
I mean, maybe they
That's
have their
just
own
me.
side stories within the world of the next game.
Yeah, but it would still, unless it takes place like immediately as Frontiers ends, where they're all on the plane together, so they still have a reason to be together.
I'm not saying they
Uh,
don't have to be together. They're just doing their own thing in the world. You get the mainline story with Sonic, and maybe you get some connections with his friends.
yeah.
But like, you know, having
Yeah,
those separate
I suppose-
stories. So pretty much SA1, but without an
yeah.
interconnected story.
I suppose if it is going to be one big massive world, then they could definitely treat it as like, oh yeah, they're off on their own adventures in this world. But if they are like, this is a specific island that Sonic has come to, for, you know, the next game, and all the other characters just happen to be there in the same location at the same time, I'd be a little annoyed, because that's a little annoying to me. It's like, because I like when Sonic can adventure, because Sonic goes off on his own, and it makes sense for him to be on his own a lot of the time. But they have this need to have like Knuckles to be everywhere Sonic happens to be, and that makes the world feel very small. To me, if that makes any sense.
Right.
It kind of makes sense for Tails to be there, because Tails' whole thing is that he follows Sonic. It kind of makes sense for Amy to be there, because Amy's like Sonic stalker. I guess not anymore, but you know. But it really, like, it never makes sense for Knuckles to be there, especially now that they are actually treating the lore more seriously. It kind of made sense in Frontiers because he was brought there against his will, but most of the time they bring Knuckles there to a certain place, it doesn't make sense. It didn't even make sense in Sonic Superstars, where they literally showed him in a cutscene guarding the Master Emerald, and then he just decides to follow Sonic as he flies by. So I don't know. The Sonic games are very silly, but like all I'm trying to say is if they have multiple playable characters, I'd like to maybe see a new playable character, a new character in general. That maybe the story has a solid focus on.
Yeah, Sage was a good
Um,
step forward with Frontiers. Similar things
mhm.
to that, trying out new characters to be with Sonic. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
I think the audience would be like the current Sonic fan base would be very receptive to a brand new animal Sonic character that is cool. So I'd like to see something like that. Don't know if it would happen because, well, I mean they had Trip, and from what I can tell, people like Trip, even though the game she's in is not exactly the most polished thing. I like Trip as a character and as a character design, but I don't know, for modern Sonic, it's been a long time since we've had like a new animal character introduced that is like a new mainstay. So I don't know. I'd like to see something like that. Give him some personal problems that Sonic helps him out with, and then I'll be really, really happy. So, anyways, I'll end my rant there. Uh, there's just a lot to look forward to after Shadow Generations. I think there's going to be a lot of cool adventures ahead for the series.
To anyone out there still watching, rate our you should rate our expectations. Are they good? Are they bad? Were they completely wrong and you just want to insult our faces? Let us know in the comments below.
Also, let us know what you're hoping for from the future of the Sonic games. And if you like this video, we are going to be there for those other new Sonic games right when they come out. So why don't you hit the subscribe button, maybe like the video, and we'll see you there.